Ladies and gentlemen, Pimpmunk. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Wood. This is the Morning Wood where you get what, Missy?
Wood, it's so good.
Yes, indeed. What do we get, Shabisky?
Wood is so good. I want Landon to do it, but he'd do it sexy.
Landon, you can do it. Do it.
We do the wood because the wood is good.
Hey, that's pretty good. It is. Well, we all know what day it is. It's Tuesday, November 3rd, the year of and it's also the election.
Today's the day.
The day
It-
maybe
day
we
of-
get rid of the orange turd.
The day
It's
of
big
days.
day. Everybody should be celebrating. It is my birthday eve.
Oh,
Well,
happy Eve.
Your
Happy early birthday.
Eve, but not your birthday until. Well, what time of the day were you born?
I was born, as far as I remember, it was like 10:50 a.m.
Ooh.
Okay, so you got a few little bit of time, but well,
Right.
happy soon-to-be birthdays.
Happy
Thank you.
Well, we're joined today by birthday boy Skip Tall.
Mhm.
It's one of those mornings. I live in one of the states that is listed as one of the top 5 possibilities of seeing militia violence tomorrow.
Yeah, another boarding up windows. But we're also joined by the brain himself, Landon Noel. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on your time zone, latitude, and voting status. And hello there, great Pimpmunk.
You heard that, Shabisky. He said, great Pimpmunk.
Yeah, but you're not the greatest.
No, I create greatness. We done told you that.
Well,
Yes.
how come I ended
And-
up better than you?
And of course,
Huh?
I would like to acknowledge the great one there, and Missy. It is always a pleasure to see you and to talk with you. And of course, Skep Talk. It's going to be a fun day as we see basically us primates in cages throwing poop at each other.
Yeah.
That's
We got-
sexy.
We already got a big orange turd in the White House, so maybe we can throw that turd out of the fucking house.
Usually the primates are throwing poo through the cages to the people watching, but I think now we're just throwing cages at throwing poo at each other's cages.
Who created the cages, though, Landon?
Who built
That's
the
a really
cages?
good.
Who built
That's-
the cages?
That's really good question. Can we blame Hillary or Obama or?
Trump blamed Biden.
Things so that we don't have to take responsibility for anything that we've done ever in our life because we're fucking free.
I'll blame Nixon. That'll work for me.
Blame Nixon. No, let's
I
just
still
go
blame Nixon.
Gerald Ford. Fuck it. Ford did it.
I am pleased to say that I told Gerald Ford I thought he lied to Congress and that there was a quid pro quo and that he pardoned Nixon as part of his deal to become president. And that I said, but my question to you, sir, is do you understand why you lost the election?
Yeah, and that's the thing that I want Trump to be asked, and we won't get an answer if he does lose. I'm not saying he's going. I'm not predicting a loss for Trump or predicting a win for Biden. I'm just saying if Trump loses, will he realize why he lost?
No, he's gonna
No.
say it was rigged.
No, I think, and here's my model of Trump. Trump is about himself. I mean, he is probably, I use as narcissistic, but I'm not a mental health expert. But I think Trump is not a deep thinker. He's about himself, and people like that rarely accept their part in the failure. Right? And you look at his business deals that have gone bust, right? Trump sees an agreement as an adjustable document that he can try to skirt around, and he expects you to do the same. And at some point, he also realizes that agreements are temporary. You might negotiate something, but at some point he decides he's got a better thing to do and dumps it and expects you to sue him, and he has lawyers and have something there. The thing that's going to be that my political associates, many of them are telling me, is they say Trump will not stick around to the end of the term. He will, because he's going to leave the White House sometime, either this term or next term, depending on when he's reelected or not. But he's going to skedaddle and move his assets offshore and protect his name. He doesn't necessarily care about his family, but the fact that he has his name on it means he's protecting his name and protecting himself and moving stuff offshore. And the question is when. In this election, they say it's going to determine, does he do it, in the next month or two, or does he do it in 4 years?
Hopefully he does the next month or two.
But I would like to see Trump brought to legal justice. We were denied that with Richard Nixon.
That's true.
And I would not have minded Nixon to have been convicted in court and then pardoned. But I would like to see Trump having to face some of his deeds in court.
How dumb was Nixon, though, to talk about this shit knowing it was being recorded? How fucking dumb are you?
Well, he was not so much dumb. When you listen to the Robert Frost interviews, or it was David Frost. It was David Frost interviews with Nixon after he had left the White House, and Nixon explained that he was more concerned about his position in history, right? He felt it was more important to preserve what happened in the White House to write his memoirs. So think of it like it's the modern day equivalent of he kept all his emails so that he could write a book about himself.
Yeah, understand.
I know, Skeptic, what do you think?
Yeah, Skippy.
Well, I mean, just a little bit under the age of remembering too much about what happened during the Nixon administration. But I mean, I think going forward, I don't know if we'll actually see him be able to be prosecuted. I think that, I mean, like, if you're talking about the possibility of him stepping down, I mean, it could just be as a way for Pence to then pardon him of anything.
Yes,
because at that point,
I've seen this theory a couple times already. I've heard it, yeah.
Because if he steps down, then, I mean, Pence is definitely going to give him the card out. And he's already mentioned about the possibility of having to move offshore. So
now, the one thing you got to understand, in my opinion, is that we have a very good vice president to pick out the prosecutor, and she knows her shit, right? She knows who to pick and go after his ass too. So
and Skeptic, I think you raise some good points. One of the things I would also suggest is that if you look at his behavior in Indiana, governor and pre-governor, Pence is also known for stabbing people in the back. And there are sort of these political agreements where he then asserts himself when he's dominant and screws the other side. That was one of the reasons why he was so glad to exit the governorship and right. to run for vice president, because he knew he had stabbed enough people that he did not have support. He was not capable of winning the governorship again. And
that'd be so good, though.
So Pence's behavior politically would be something where he would turn around if Trump gave him, around and say, nope, right? And why would he do that? Well, first of all, the matriarch of the Pence family did not want him in office. Right? She's mad that he was selected and he accepted and he's vice president. They want the family wants to focus on family business and so forth, and Pence just sort of complicates that name. Yeah. She and so Pence would be the type of person who would say, okay, if I'm going to be president for a couple of days, let's say, right, or however long it is, I'm going to go down in history and deny Trump a pardon, stab him, leave office to try and salvage some of their family name. I'm not saying that's certainly within Pence's operative. See, Pence is a dangerous person.
Yes.
I mean, what did you think of in terms of his performance in the debate, Skepta?
Oh, I mean, so I felt like we were watching a sociopath, right?
Yes.
Like he definitely was way too cold, I'd have to say, in everything that he was doing, and
sexist.
Well, I would say he would consider what Landon just described to be a good thing too. He would actually morally be able to justify that to himself, stabbing Trump in the back, because he soiled his family name and that kind of stuff. So it's just
my pants. So I understand.
And there's a bunch of easy way outs in the political sphere for that. I'm only going to be president for a couple of days. I don't feel right in using the power to provide pardons. He could he could look like he's putting a hand across to the left, like, oh, I didn't give Trump a pardon because I'm reaching across the aisles and trying to unite, which is definitely just a maneuver and not heartfelt in any way, right?
Yeah, and I think the thing, and that would be if Biden was running against Pence, we would see a much more formidable opponent in the Republicans. The problem is the Republican Party is they have hitched their ride of someone who doesn't care about the party.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
and they've
Trump
gone
doesn't care.
too
Trump
deep
only cares
now.
about himself.
Most of them hate him too. Most of them hate him, but they're too deep into it now to back out.
Yeah.
And but now I have a question for you, Landy and Skip. I want you both to answer this question. Let's just say Trump does lose the election. How much damage do you think he's going to cause in the next 2 months?
Him directly?
Yeah.
I don't think he himself will be able to cause too much lasting damage. There will be he'll cause a media firestorm for months, right? On his way out. He'll attempt to make a couple of different things that'll easily be overturned as soon as someone else comes into office, and there will be executive order after executive order for no reason, right? Especially since he's got a lot of high-powered Republicans jumping ship, and as soon as they know that he won't be in office next time, they won't be doing nearly as much to try and stir things. But I do think that his supporters will cause serious, lasting damage.
Now, I think, in that sense, I think in terms of the damage that Trump has done, it will do, has been done. And I've been saying this before, we do not know the depth of horror. The future us will look back at us saying, well, remember when we were on the Great Pimpmunk Morning Wood show and we were contemplating whether the election is going on? Remember how naive we are about what was actually going on inside there? The damage has been done. Yeah. And all he could really do is piss on the cake, right? On the way out. That's the sad thing. The thing that I think is, you're talking about the Republican Party. I would, if I would suggest this for voters, it is time that the Republican Party be held accountable for failing to correct one of their own. Right, that the Republican Party, the national level Republican Party, has aided and abetted behavior, and a couple, several years from now, when more of the horror that's going on inside the White House is known, you will see Republicans say, well, I wasn't really a Trump supporter. I mean, I didn't do the blah 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 thing, right? Now now we see, well, what is Trump looking at doing? Well, again, he being about himself, he's told us he wants to create his own network. He's dissatisfied that Fox isn't always as loyal to him, and he wants to build his own network. Even if he does it in absentia, if he's in Kuwait or United Arab Emirates or Qatar or place like that, and he's doing it from afar. He wants the Trump network, the Trump name, taking over the mantle of how he used Fox, and he wants that brand because he wants people to be lauding himself. Right? It's about himself. So that's, I think, is where he's looking, not to flee. It's not like Al Capone and the IRS is about to get him. It's Trump saying, okay, this business deal is finished. Time for the next business deal. Move on.
What do you think, Shabisky?
I agree with Landon.
Yeah.
Everybody else I disagree with.
I would too. Sometimes I do this, Shabisky. I'm not going to lie. I've been with Landon. He talked, but not about presidential stuff, but like science shit. And I'm like, I agree 100%. Had no idea what the fuck you talking about.
No.
Well, I just wanted to go back and make a point on what he had said about how it's not really like Trump isn't the one that we have to worry about. It's his supporters that we have to worry about.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that, too.
Over the weekend, I don't know if it happened in your guys' cities, but where I am, all of a sudden I kept hearing like horns blaring. But it went on for 2 hours. And when I went out to go get my kid from his girlfriend, it was an insane Trump train. Like, to the point where it was giant trucks covered in these huge flags. They had people hanging out of the windows screaming at you as you drove by them. Like, this wasn't, this was like intimidating. This wasn't like support your president. Like, where we want to show we're happy and we're having fun and we're this was intimidation. And then I go and I get my kid, and come to find out one of those Trump they almost ran my kid over. Yeah. Like, they're so deluded and driven in this one fucking Trump bullshit that they don't see what else is going on. Like, you almost ran over a kid to have a parade for an asshole.
Yeah. So, well, you used the very proper word, the intimidation. They're trying to intimidate people right now. And here's my theory on all this. These last couple of days, I'm going crazy with these Trump train things. They're very, very scared.
Yes.
Did you see the one that went through it was an all-black neighborhood?
Yeah. I also want to point out this. All these rallies that he's been having, and people are like, oh, did you see that? But he's preaching to the choir.
Exactly.
He's preaching to his cult.
Yeah, to his cult.
Because again, Pimpmunk, why is he doing that? Well, he's concerned about himself. He doesn't care whether I think he could care less whether he gets into another term or not. I think he's more looking at the next phase of his brand. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to build that audience. And for example, imagine this. Let's say that he loses and it's substantial loss, and even Fox News calls it. Then he'll go to supporters and say, look, Fox is now fake news.
Yeah.
Come over to the Trump channel.
Yeah. He's already doing that with like Chris Wallace. He's the worst person on earth now. Mm-hmm. And, Fox News has like 2 respectable reporters, and Trump hates them.
Yeah. So that's a thing where I think he's not this scheming, calculating Pence guy. He's not a calculating Bush dynasty
idiot with a bunch of money.
He's about himself, right? And he doesn't care that you, Missy, and you, Pimpmunk, and you, I presume, I don't want to presume the greatest person.
Trump 2020.
He doesn't care that you don't like him, because your hatred or your dislike or is part of building his brand.
Yeah, it drives the MAGA people.
He wants you to be anti him so that his choir can sing his praises and elevate his.
Yeah,
well, it's just like that whole thing, but even bad attention is attention.
Yeah, any publicity is good publicity.
It's like Shanny for Christ is in the White House right now. But here's the thing, though. It's so scary. Put him aside for a second. His people, the MAGA people, they're terrifying in a way because most of them, and I know there's some smart people that support Trump. I'm not saying that, but you really look at most of his following, they're very uneducated, very not, and I don't understand this, poor as fuck, but yet they worship this guy who's born with a silver spoon up his ass. It's just so weird, and I don't get it.
So ask yourself. So I think, and it's too easy, I think, to dismiss him as being, mumblers. So ask yourself why.
Well,
why would someone?
Because they're dumbass.
I think it's more.
In my theory, and I've said this before 4 years ago when he won it. Some reason the disenfranchised poor white dude related to Trump because they felt like nobody was speaking for them, right?
Yeah.
And let's also get this. There's a racial tone behind it. Here's why. Here's the racial. Because I'm in the South, right? I'm around a lot of people who think black people should be swinging from trees, not working. Honestly, they felt like for the 8 years that Obama was in office, no, it wasn't this way, but they convinced themselves that nobody was speaking for the white man.
I just wanted to say real quick, I've never been so jealous of a piece of paper.
That is sexist and it's harassment, and we allow that here on the
Well, go ahead, please, Skeptic.
I think that part of the behavior that we see from the people in the Trump support, I guess you'd have to say crowd as one of the best ways to put that without insulting anybody, is it's the same feelings that the people of Salem had as they were lighting people on fire, right? Yeah. The people of Salem weren't necessarily evil and stupid, but there was a fervor and a zealotry that drove them to do something that, they may even regret later, right?
Although technically,
the
thing is more hanging than burning, but
right.
Well, their fervor made them food.
I get your point.
Yeah, right.
So let me say that I do not accept the thesis that the MAGA crowds are dumb. I think they are scared. I think they are concerned, and that Trump makes them feel good, and they
Trump manipulates their emotions. That's what he does.
They're dumb.
No.
Make me feel good, Daddy.
They have other reasons to be feeling that way.
Let's not deny the dumbness of these motherfuckers, y'all.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm sorry, man. You're the smartest man I ever met in my life. But you're fucking wrong. They're dumb.
Well, I mean, the behavior is not in their best interest, and what they're doing is they're not thinking about it. But I think they're motivated more by just the feeling, right? It's an emotional response.
No, I agree. Actually, I'm just being silly. I agree.
Well, I mean, I think both Pimp and I are ex-cigarette smokers, right? Yeah. And for years, we willingly intook something killing us because it made us feel good, right? So yeah, and
you hit your hand with a hammer so many times and realize, like, I shouldn't be doing this.
But I think so and I've had discussions with people who are going to vote for Trump and talk to them about it, but it's hard to try to avoid going into the sports team type of thing, like Raiders versus 49ers or Packers versus the Vikings, right? You support that team, therefore you suck. type of stuff, and I support my quarterback because that's my team, right? Why, right? And usually when you ask someone, you know, they don't. It's more an emotional support. So you have people who behave what they're doing because Trump has made it okay for them to act out their feelings.
Exactly. Trump didn't create racism and hate and shit, but he gave them a comfort zone.
Yes.
Right. And it's also not to say that there aren't intentionally bad actors in the crowd that are taking advantage of. Now there are a bunch of people who feel like they can that they can whip up and that they can easily manipulate, easily control, and bring along to rallies to do bad things, like the bus situation, like that happened.
And understand that we will get reports of this sort of thing throughout the day, throughout the coming week, and so forth, because we got 1/3 billion people here.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get 1/3 billion people, you get a collection of folks who are going to act out in an extreme manner. And the media is going around looking for someone upset, hoping to catch that thing of them doing something, a dumpster fire, or whatever, a broken window, whatever. Because why? Because the media wants you, the product, to be delivered to the customer, the advertiser. And so they will take they'll take those clips, 10 seconds this, 15 seconds of that, of behavior, throw it on the thing and get you to hyperventilate.
Mm-hmm.
And then why? So they can hold your attention, so they can shove advertisement at you. You're the product. And so you might say, I'm not a Trump supporter, but let me tell you, if you're sitting on those 3-liter 20-hour news cycles and watching this stuff, you're part of the problem too. Okay, you're not out there on the bus creating traffic hazards, and you're not throwing stuff at people, but you're part of a phenomenon. So I would say if you're disgusted by it, don't be the anti-Trump group as well.
I have to go urinate. I'll be right back.
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, like, this election, I was incredibly disenfranchised with the fact that I had to vote for Biden, right? I don't want Biden. I don't agree with nearly any of Biden's policies. Like, just his tokenism to the things that I do agree with actually makes me really angry. I feel like my vote was necessarily it was taken from me.
What's that music?
Yeah,
I don't know what that was. Oh,
time to party.
But I mean, like, I kind of feel like my vote was taken from me in the fact that I didn't actually get to vote for anyone I liked. I had to vote in defense of what could happen should one of the candidates win. And
that's not an uncommon thing to happen in a representative democracy, right? If you want a system, you'd be sitting there saying, well, my preference is blah, 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 and I'll put Trump as number 5, but I'll put the Green candidate as number 3. But you would rank stuff. But here it devolves into a binary choice. And I know third-party people, complain about our system, but political systems tend to converge towards two camps, and then if one camp becomes super dominant and forms a dictatorship, then they basically eliminate the competition. That's
right. Well, and I mean, it comes down to, like, it makes me wonder: is this the end point of the game theory? Right? Like, is this the optimal point where the rotation continues? And I'm drawing a blank on what the name of that was.
But yeah, the thing, but that convergence towards a bimodal camp is very common. It only becomes dictatorial when one camp gets such an upper hand and then uses the levers of power to suppress the other camp completely. Mm-hmm. And this is but again, I'm talking about don't be an anti-Trump problem. If Trump were to lose, don't be the type that wants to sort of stamp out all of the MAGA stuff. That is just as bad as if Trump wanted to essentially make it illegal to be anti-Trump. Right? Don't do that. It is unfortunate that we end up having to become this bimodal system, but that seems to be the nature of political systems.
Yeah. You know what it should be the nature? Everybody should go to my wish list because it is the 28 days of Pimpmunk.
We have the 28 days of Pimpmunk, and on that list are important things for Mama Pimp.
Yes. Mama Pimp is very important. And she wants to do her bathroom and see stuff.
I'm gonna buy her a broom with a comfort handle for optimal.
When Pimpmunk claims that I say so rude things to Mom Pimp, a lady I respect.
Talking shit about my mom was bad. Shabisky does it all the time.
Mama Pimp, you hear me?
No, she can't hear
I miss you.
No.
I miss you.
Miss you too, baby.
Yeah, Mama Pimp.
We love you, Mama Pimp.
Missy said, "Shut the fuck up, you old bitch."
I love you, Mama Pimp.
Are you smoking a cigarette?
Joint.
Oh, that's a big ass.
You weren't even paying attention. She was licking it all sexually and shit, trying to get everybody hard as a rock, and you weren't even paying attention.
Damn, y'all being sexist this morning.
She was the one doing it.
Respect the
That's how I
woman.
lick a joint.
Yeah, whatever. You lick it like a dick or whatever. Yeah. Everyone licks their joint like dicks.
If she starts to set fire on dicks, dude, you got a problem.
Yeah, there you go. So again,
Sorry, I don't use cones, and I can actually roll my joint.
You wanna fight about this? Nobody said I couldn't roll.
I should disclose, in this race, that I was, I developed for the primaries when the primaries were happening. I was in California resident, and so I was developing for that list a list of potential candidates I supported. There was a solid support, okay support, and don't want, right? And candidates moved around on that list for me. But one candidate stayed consistently on the list, and that is because of my direct experience with that person, and that is Kamala Harris. When I was I was an elected official in Sunnyvale, Kamala was district attorney in San Francisco, and the Association of Area Governments is a group that basically all the cities and counties get together to coordinate things and work cooperatively amongst different regions. And I was impressed by her. She's extraordinarily smart. She's also extraordinarily transparent. I mean, the behavior you see of her on, let's say, the judiciary, talking to people, that's who she is. It's not an act. So I didn't get she was one of the people that was there. I was at various times intrigued with Yang. I was various times intrigued also with Bernie. And when she dropped out, I flipped over. But we have the Democrats nominated Biden. I was pleased that she was selected as Biden's running mate. And I think if Biden wins as vice president, she will be a really effective president of the Senate, right? That the vice president is a leader of the Senate. Mm-hmm. And you need somebody there who understands how that Senate runs, because I tell you, as important as the presidency is, the chairmanships of the Senate, I think, collectively contain more power than the president.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Right? And so, anyway.
It's true. No, I was doing that, them girls.
It's true.
But that's
I mean,
but that's again that's just a disclosure in terms of connections. But that's I don't I other people have a different opinion, and I respect that.
Shabisky's got a different opinion on it. Debate landed. Muted.
He's greatly muted.
Yep, off to a good start.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Sorry, Missy did that. Trump 2020. There, I won. You lose.
Are you insulting Trump? Because 2020 doesn't seem to be the most loved year, I think.
Oh, he's the greatest, okay?
I think that with 2020 being the way that it is, it wouldn't surprise me if Trump got reelected. Like, this entire year has been fucking shit. So it wouldn't surprise me.
I don't think you in 10, 20 years from now, people say 2020. Oh yeah, no, I don't think. I think that 2020 will not be one of the more loved years.
No, it's gonna go down as a shit year, man.
I mean, when it comes down to the possibility of Trump winning, it is definitely just we need to watch for the Electoral College and where it's going to go. I mean, there is a strong chance that the Democrats come with an incredible margin of victory, right, in the popular vote, but those votes will come in states that were already on the blue ticket, right? Like, for instance, Oregon, right? There was no chance that there was going to be a Trump victory here, as all of our voting populace is crammed into blue cities, right? Yeah. We do have a large swath of area that is considered to be Republican controlled, but it's just land, not very many people in comparison. Yeah. So, like, we could get every single person in Oregon to vote, and it doesn't change the election at all because of the fact that those electoral votes were already going.
It doesn't change. I think what you meant to say is that it doesn't change which electors are selected by Oregon to vote, but it does matter because Oregon has members of Congress that are up for re-election.
Yeah, down ticket is always super important. But
and so for legislative Washington, we have a governorship and so forth. So my plea, regardless of how you do, is don't be a TJ. Don't sit there and say, my candidate didn't win, so I'm going to not vote, and I'm going to be proud of it, right?
He actually did vote though this year, Landon.
And I'm glad he did it, but I'm still reminding him. I think a dumb decision to not vote in 2016. Even if you say I don't like any of the candidates' slates for electors, fine. You have on the ballot other things that matter: local races, regional races, statewide races in your state, and you should do your homework and look at those too, please.
Well, and if you look at your ballot, there's likely to be one or two very stupid laws that you need to vote down.
Yeah.
Well, we have an important thing on our thing this year. I was telling you guys before the show, initiative 69, something like that, whatever it is. It's for medical marijuana. And I hope it gets passed.
For your state, you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also, going to be just generally useful things that you can vote for to assure that, something good comes in. There was a lot of things on my ballot this year about allocating funds to schools, right? It wasn't necessarily even some sort of a tax increase. It was just, we have this money, should we give it to the school? And I mean, usually a good idea. You get a smarter kid base next time, But I mean, there was a electronic cigarette tax set up this year, and It's hidden. Yeah, like you have to read everything super carefully. It is it is just talking about increasing a tax on cigarettes, right? But if you read through the bill, it adds a 65% tax to electronic cigarettes and products, which is intense. 65% tax on anything is ridiculous.
Pretty bad. It's pretty bad. The downvote, it's more than just a presidential election is what we're trying to say. And there's a lot of stuff that's important in your area, in your state, that you need to go and look at because, like I said, I mean, this thing about medical marijuana is very important because there's a lot of people that can, benefit from that, because look at the opiate addiction is fucking crazy, right? We all know about the opiate addiction. It's harmful. It's bad. Missy got several people in her family and friends stuff she's talked about before that died of opiate overdoses and stuff. So it's a bad situation. So the medical marijuana is very important. This year alone,
I've buried 3 family members because of fentanyl overdoses.
Medical marijuana is very important. And now you go to that. I went to my local WTVA thing on Facebook, and some of the arguments there are so stupid. It's a gateway drug, I even had one person say it kills 20 to 30 people a year, and I'm like, show me a receipt, motherfucker. That's just completely untrue.
My message just got deleted from the Google monitoring team.
Oh my God, is that person back?
Wait, they
deleted my message where I told Tony to lick my shoe as a joke.
Whoa.
And obviously they can see like the exchange going back and forth, but they're too ridiculously dumb to understand that it's just a joke. And I'm not actually gonna stomp on his nuts.
We love you, Google Monitor.
I mean, Missy, I don't know if. Sure. But I don't know, Missy, if you're seeing the bot do that or a person.
No, it says by the Google moderator team.
The Google moderator team has been here before.
Let me address you right now, as someone who got permanently banned.
Okay.
Get a life. You are a disgusting group of people that are doing disgusting things, and you should be embarrassed, right? You're a coward. You hide behind the moderator sting, and you do things you think. What's worse is that some of you do it from a self-righteous point of view. You are really lowlife. You are often worse than the so-called hate stuff you think you're moving forward, and it is a shame that you don't get another job, right?
Yeah.
And it really and so again, I'm pointing to you, the Go Moderator team. You folks, your behavior is disgusting. You might be nice people, but what you do is disgusting and deplorable, and you should really find, you're at the same level as I think the people who are doing the scam calls.
So you're saying you like Google?
And no, I'm talking about the moderator team.
You like them, is what you're saying.
And I'm saying, why are you going to delete my comment that says lick my shoe? And you just let Mickey Richards' comment stay that says the same exact fucking thing.
I love you
too. So yeah, Google moderator team, I hope you're listening. Your behavior is disgusting, and you should really find another line of work to do.
Yeah, you're shit. Oh, I'm sorry, you're very good people.
Sorry. I was triggered.
That's okay. Yeah, it is. It's pretty bad, but the views of Planet Notes is not a.
Yeah, this is my personal opinion. This is not opinion of the show. Why
are you over here?
And
why
again,
are you here?
It is a girl on a team. I am disgusted by your behavior and your actions. Right? You might be nice people, but
why are you here?
Because they want to watch a great show.
I assume it's likely due to the fact that there is just a a rotating stream of live streams that are presented in front of said person, and they just join streams.
They hit us quite a bit though. They do come in here, and I think maybe today is because they got election in the title. Because they, during debates and election stuff, they really watch these streamers pretty much heavily.
For a show called the Morning Wood, how is this not the Erection Day stream?
Oh, dude, I almost said to that, but they would have buried me even more into where people wouldn't see it. You have to be very careful about what you name your titles, because I've noticed there's been certain times where I named it like something that was hints towards sex, and then nobody gets notified.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful because, as Landon said, they're a bunch of assholes, and they're censoring motherfuckers on here.
And again, I am deploring and I'm disgusted by their behavior and their actions.
Right,
and
they could be very nice people that do very good things for society, but this is not one of them.
And furthermore, I think they're as bad as the people they think they're stopping. I think they are on the same level as the Social Security scammers and the Nazis and those things. I think because of what they do and how they do it, they are that bad, and their behavior is that bad. They're, as people, might be nice, but their behavior and what they do is disgusting and deplorable. And I'll moderate. I hope you've heard it there. And if you didn't, again, what you do disgusts me and revolts me. Seriously.
Well, it all goes down to their cunt and savior, Susan.
I even wonder if they get to watch what it is that they're doing. Do they just get a stream of the live text streaming in front of them, and they find things and just delete them ad nauseum, right? Like,
well, there's several things again, but I don't particularly. I've been asked because of people who are involved in that thing to not talk so much about the thing, but let's just say that they have this problem of they have more streams coming in than anyone can possibly watch. So they're not sitting there with a censor button going bad, 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 bad. They have front-loading algorithms where there might be trigger words that they.
What the hell is wrong with lick my shoe?
Well, but you might say that lick my could be considered to be potentially troublesome, and then it's just easy to, and it's like it's like that dating app. They sit there and say yep, nope, yep, nope, yep, nope, yep, nope.
Yeah.
Yep. It is lick me or lick my triggers the algorithm, and a 4-letter word afterwards allows them to go. Oh, it's it calculates into the
shoe might be a metaphor for something. So.
Well, we don't know where your shoes have been, Missy.
But seriously, this YouTube censor stream that would look at lick my and think that's a problem. What you do is disgusting. Your job that you're performing is deplorable, and I ask you to find a different way to make a living.
Yeah, Shabisky
you are just as bad of a problem as the super alt-right or the super alt-left or anything. You are actually part of the problem of social media. You are, your behavior is something that is disgusting. So anyway, enough ranting about those.
I was going to see if they got deleted. I said I love vagina.
It might be random of stuff that's happening. I don't know the.
Aries' comment was deleted. I don't know if that was by the same one, or is Spec saying that it accidentally removed the wrong one? Possibly.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to we have the election.
Yeah, it was an accident.
I think that the thing to try and avoid doing if you are disturbed by some of the more rabid MAGA Trump fans, try not to be the opposite and therefore part of the problem. Right? I will come on and say there are people who have legitimate reasons to want to vote for the Trump-Pence ticket, and they're not stupid. I might disagree with their choice, but they're not stupid. The behavior of folks deciding, and this is one thing that is being seen in social media, where there are various social media gathering spots where people come in and say, "Hey, let's all drive down to this intersection on this freeway, converge with our vehicles, make a noise." In fact, to the point where they'll stop for a minute or two on the freeway, walk all lanes, and then move on, right? And then they sit there, particularly in a spot where they're doing it where there's like a traffic cam, and by the time the police get there, they're all long gone. But in a busy freeway like the New Jersey Turnpike, that stoppage creates a traffic jam. Lasts for hours, right? And people sort of see that as and this is a sad thing that Trump about himself sees it as making an impact, right? That's a sad behavior. But don't turn around and do the opposite. Don't turn around and
I think
you're absolutely fucking crazy, but okay.
I got a piece of kind of breaking news. Apparently in Nebraska all morning, there has been a series of robocalls going out to all people all over Nebraska saying, "This is a test, stay safe and stay home," and then hanging up. And no one is able to determine where it's coming from.
Yeah. There's another one in Flint, Michigan, where people that the robocall says, due to long lines, they should vote tomorrow, which is false.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say, if you're dumb enough to say, "Oh, long lines at the polling station, I'll vote tomorrow," and you fall for it, maybe you should be better educated.
I bet I wonder if most that are getting these calls are liberals.
Or trolls, right? This could be a troll thing, right?
No, what I'm saying is, are the calls aimed at homes that are normally voted for liberals and Democrats in the past, is what I'm asking. Or conservative, who knows? Because, look, we got assholes on both sides.
Right.
That's a fact. That's a fact, Shabby.
On a positive note, reports out of Atlanta say that currently the voting time there is about 5 minutes. It's not taking very long at all, and they're having things go rather smoothly.
Yeah, and again, I would encourage you to vote. Yeah. Study your ballot if you've not done so already. If you have voted, thank you very much. If you're not voted and you're an American citizen and you're registered, please consider doing so. If you are an American citizen and you're not registered, think about registering sometime in the future.
Yeah, Shabisky. You're muted again.
Don't worry, I voted Trump, guys. I already put in my vote. Okay, we're gonna win. No big deal.
Yeah, you're the greatest.
Make America the greatest again.
But he's been president for 4 years. Why isn't he great?
He was just getting started. He needs a little bit more time. Okay? Fuck, dude. You think you could just do it in a couple years or whatever? Shut up, pimp. You're not that great. Okay?
The statement "Make America Great Again" refers to a point in past. When was that?
The greatest again. Okay.
Yeah. When was it the greatest?
Maybe the Precambrian era, where we had like pretty good.
We had the biggest dinosaurs. They were the angriest.
They were huge.
And I know dinosaurs. Yeah, it's I don't know, dude. That's because I've seen them asked like these Comedy Central reporters go to the Trump rallies and ask them like, well, when do you consider America was great again? And a lot of them would say, like, back in the days where black people weren't allowed on the front of the bus, they wouldn't say that, but they would name that era. I'm like, you fucking racist. Shabazz a Trump said, actually, Shabisky's fucking trolling you guys. He's not for Trump. No.
What? Dude, I'm gonna start wearing my MAGA hat on the stream just to show my alliance to Trump. Show how great he is.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So for this is the data for the Electoral College group is a polling group, private polling group that specializes in polling to try to determine who's going to be selected to the Electoral College. Because in case you haven't heard it before, you are not voting for president. You're voting for somebody to vote for president.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way we do it here in the States. And so they would say that if the election, the election, this was yesterday. They said the election, they were that Biden would get 351 votes, Trump 187 votes, everyone else 0. And margin of error is 65. That would equate to Biden having a 92.7% chance to win. But let me underscore, even with that, Trump can still win. And let me help you understand the odds. Take a standard deck of cards. You have 4 suits of 13 cards each and 2 jokers in the pack. Mm-hmm. Pull out an ace at random after you shuffled it. That's the odds that Trump had right now to win. Right? You can take a stick of cards, shuffle it with 2 jokers, and on occasion pull out an ace. It's not impossible. The same thing. That's why even if the polls are indicating Biden has a lead, it's why it's important for you to vote, because you can still pull an ace out of that deck.
It's true. And it's I hope that ace don't pop out. Go ahead, Skip.
Well, and as we said before, there are also a ton of different other things that we need to flip because we need Mitch McConnell to not be in charge of America anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. So you're needed for you are at the polls. You haven't already voted. If you voted, fine. If you're not a voter but you're a U.S. citizen, consider registering next time.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, Missy, what are we doing this second hour?
E-demand.
What do we do, Shabisky?
We E-demand.
That's
pay
right.
Up.
E-demand. Huh?
I said pay up.
That's E-demand. That's, oh, God, I'm choking up. Wait a minute. Somebody, wait, okay, here we go. I got it. E-demand, that means I tell you to give us money and you do so. In the description below, Shabisky has a Patreon. Please. Sorry, I had to drink water. But Shabisky has a Patreon. Please donate money to him. He's got some perks and rewards for you there if you can become a patron. Missy has a Patreon.
Yes.
She has some lovely photos and videos for your viewing pleasure. If you become a patron of hers, you'll like it. Also, Booleanenator, the great producer, does this show and other shows. He has a Patreon. All these links in the description below. Make sure you become a patron of Bulls because he needs new equipment to make his production company better, so help him out. I have a Patreon, Streamlabs, and a direct link to PayPal. Also, there's an Amazon wish list down there if you want to partake in the 28 days of Pimpmunk. And I will throw my Cash App in the chat room as we speak. Tomorrow on the show, I will not be here. I have things I have to take care of. I gotta go find a house and all this good shit. I got a couple appointments for houses. But Missy will be here. Shabisky will be here. Burnt Toast will be a guest. And Red Eye's going to be here. And I think Dirt's going to be here also. So it should be a very good show.
So you're going to let the foxes loose in a hen house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Missy's going to be ahead of the snake.
In charge. Oh.
Yeah, Missy's in charge this time. Next time I don't show up, Shabisky will be in charge.
Totally great.
Yes. Missy's gonna be head of the snake tomorrow, but Missy's always the head of the snake, or giving head to the snake most of the time. But I kid. She never gave head to a snake, I don't think. But anyways, make sure you check that out tomorrow. That's about all I gotta say. Hey, if we make $125, I'll do a Friday show.
That's a promise. Okay. So please, actually, and again, folks, if you enjoy the content, tip, because that's the way that professionals like Pimpmunk, and particularly Booleanenator, and of course the great Shabisky and that's how they get living. So you're not watching some cable news show with a big production budget behind it. You're watching artists do their craft. So please show your appreciation, even if it's just you only got a couple dollars.
We've got 51 people watching right now and 23 likes. So I mean,
what? We should have 53 likes.
That's what I'm saying.
Fucked up. Give it a like, guys. Come on.
Did you say the white guys?
Yeah, only white guys give it a like. No, I said give it a like, guys.
Oh, so you said the white guys. I'm like, what the fuck is that all about?
White guys, give it a like, guys.
Hey, if you're black, we like your thumbs too. Thumbs to the up.
There you go.
Yeah. So make sure you like the stream. Absolutely. Make sure you tip. Make sure you go to my wish list and buy some gifts. And that's all that shit. So anyways, I'm King.
And I'm saying that gift thing, and seriously, that one of the things on that gift list is a lot of stuff for Mama Pimp, right? They have a housing need, and so there's a number of wonderful things you can express your appreciation for an amazing, wonderful woman.
Yeah, I even put a Nintendo Switch on there, Shabisky. On that list. I did. There's also laptops on there, and there's all kind of house stuff on there and shit like that. So, yeah. Anyways, no thumbs up. What? Okay. So, I'm carrying an umbrella, Pimp. So, what does that mean? Why are they sorry that they're carrying an umbrella? I don't know. Missy, what are you doing?
I was answering an email.
Well, stop it! I'm joking. So, okay, we are in the second hour now. That means it's time for Shabisky to get naked.
Mm-hmm.
All right. No. Again, Pimp? I thought these were only on the
Why
shows
are you so
that me and
ashamed
you
of your
did.
body, Shabisky? That's the question.
I have moles everywhere, all over my nips and shit.
Yeah?
Yeah, it looks weird. And I have big pancake nips, too. They're like that big.
Some people have moles.
Yeah, it's weird.
Huh?
Oh, we hear an echo.
Yeah, we're hearing ourselves now. Well,
not anymore.
It's gone now.
Away now.
I think that was Missy's fault.
I think that was Missy's fault.
Anyways, going back to the election, I've noticed he always does this, but the last couple of days I've sensed in Trump's tweets, right, how he's tweeting, there's a sense of desperation there. It's like he's throwing everything out there. Shit that don't even make sense, like Cuba owns Joe Biden. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
But again, it doesn't have to make sense. He's just emphasizing himself and his brand.
It's weird though, man. Like honestly, you gotta give him credit for one thing. The man's got balls. Cause he'll get up there on debates and say anything. He'll say anything. And then denies anything.
Let's go, Shab.
Yeah. Donald Trump, 2020.
Thank you very much for supporting artists. I do really appreciate your support for artists. So thank you there.
Yeah. PT was talking about me when I say Shabisky getting naked. That's what he's talking about.
Oh.
Seriously, that's what he's talking about.
He wants you naked.
He wants to see the moles.
Yeah, you want to see my moly nips?
Do you have a mole in your butthole? Is that where you have a mole in your hole?
Yeah, a mole right next to my butthole, a big one, a shanty-sized mole.
Did he just take your shirt
Disgusting.
off? That's what PT just said.
I don't know, PT. Can you at least buy me a beer, at the very least?
I'll piss down your throat and call it a Bud Light. How about that? Well, hell, you're used to drinking Modelo anyway. You're used to piss down your throat.
Ew. Yeah, that turns me on. Piss down the throat.
He likes Mexican beer. Who the fuck in their right mind except Mexicans like that fucking beer?
Guys, type 1 if you like Mexican beer. Come on, there's got to be a bunch of Mexican beer lovers in here. Come on. Come on.
I'm not going to say that I haven't had a good time while drunk on Corona, but I'm not going to say that Corona was any good.
You shut the fuck up. Okay, you like it. You shut up.
Corona's not good. Modelo is the worst fucking thing possible.
It's like is that the sweet one? Like it's a sweet beer?
Yes, Modelo's basically their Budweiser.
That is not the one.
And I imagine that there's a bunch of microbreweries or really good stuff that you can get in Mexico. I'm not familiar with the local beer scene there, but I imagine they've got some decent stuff down there. I just don't.
No, it all tastes like cat's ass.
Oh damn!
The asshole of a kitty.
The one I'm thinking of is Negra Modelo, but yeah, and that's a sweeter, darker, and weird, wide, desserty type of beer. I don't know.
Pimp doesn't know anything about beef.
It's true.
Beef?
I don't know.
I wonder if that is beef in the food sense or beef in the are you beefing on my turf sense.
I think he meant to hit the R, but he hit the F.
Oh, beer.
Oh,
beer.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And so, Donnie, I know a lot about beer because I used to be a fucking drunk. But there you go. But now I actually drink like a man. I drink whiskey. Fuck you. Now you can get some good tequila from Mexico.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Best actually. But no, their beer blows.
So I'm going to say that Mexico is known more for their tequila.
Yeah.
And in part because they have very stringent export controls on stuff. But if you go down to the tequila region Mexico and go to distilleries, you can get some amazing stuff that you can't find even here in the States.
Yeah. I'm laughing at Gage. Gage jumps in. Well, Donnie doesn't know anything about poultry.
Oh, I love Gage.
You're out of your element, Donnie.
So what do you think, Skep Talk, that the historians are going to say about this era, let's say, 20 years from now? What do you think they'll be?
I think that the focus is largely going to be on the effect of social media in the political sphere. I don't think that it's going to have much to do about what we voted or how we voted or what happened politically, but I think it's going to be about how social media affected what we did. I think that is largely about what we're seeing here. Cases of voter suppression, cases of violence before an election, cases of weird things like a militia group trying to kidnap a governor, right? Yeah. That has all happened before, many times.
Well said. Well said. I mean,
but now we see it,
and we talk about it.
And you understand that the country has been even more divided. We've had officials that are even more blatantly corrupt than before. It's not as if this is extreme. It feels bad right now because you're in it, and you might be hyperventilating. So do yourself a favor, turn off the 3-letter news cycles, put on a nice bit of music, have some nice tea, take comfort that you participated in the voting process, and not get so worked up. Don't be a product being fed to the advertising customers.
I tried to disconnect myself just a little bit from the political cycle this run, because just keeping an eye on it and trying to figure out what's going on, but not to try to get too wired up about it. And I got myself a new hobby to attempt to, take my mind off of it. Unfortunately, it became the most frustrating hobby that I've ever been in. I bought a 3D printer and I've been teaching myself how to do 3D modeling.
Excellent.
And now I want to rip my own eyes out. Like,
and Skip, that modeling is a really interesting stuff. One of the things that I had the pleasure of involving, I was leading a robotics group in my day job, and we actually had one of those the type of 3D printer from Formlabs where it's the laser that hits the top of the surface and transforms the material, and we have all these various types of resins. So it's not the plastic extruder thing. It's things where you can get down to like sub-tenths of a millimeter precision on things, and there's these resins that, for example, we made a hammer, right? Had it tank making a hammer. You could take that hammer and wail on nails into boards, right? You could there's other things where you can make teeth. There's materials for dentures. You can make all kinds of, and there's a whole variety of materials with very interesting properties that you can do. Our goal was to basically build tools for robots to use for this special project, and it is fascinating. That world of manufacturing is a wonderful world. So what sort of experiences you've had with your?
Well, I've had it for a week now, and have been attempting to teach myself how to make my own things instead of just reproducing things. It came with a little bit of a challenge. The 3D printer that I bought, it's not low end, but it's not high end. It doesn't come with a spooler. So it didn't come with anything that allowed the spool of plastic to continue to move while it's being used. And you have to figure out a way to print the spooler. It does come with the recipe for a spooler to be printed. So got to start off with a little bit of a put together engineering task involving having to empty out not a toilet paper tube, but a paper towel tube in order to build myself a spooler.
But simple objects is a fun thing to do, and figuring out how to do the modeling, figuring out the impacts of putting a bunch of material together, and then what happens to that. Because you just can't sit there and say, I'm going to build a large blob, because it'll, depending on the material, it'll deform and do sorts of things. So there's a whole set of skills to be able to print something.
Out a bunch of dildos, didn't you?
Well, no. I don't trust the smooth abilities that I have right now for dildo manufacture. One day, I need to get good first.
Yeah.
But it's not impressive. But I did.
Those suits that you
excellent.
Have boobs.
I created something for my company's logo. But yeah.
Okay, sorry. What did you say, Missy?
There's only one family that there's. I don't know if you guys have ever seen there's these like femme skin suits that you can put on. Like a guy can order it and you can like put a skin suit of a woman on, and they have like boobies and a vag and stuff. And there's only one family in the world that creates them.
Oh, really?
Like the best at making plastic vaginas.
Well, here goes my search history. I have just typed in femme skin suit.
Okay, that's interesting. But what the fuck made you think of that when you were talking about 3D printing?
Because he said he wanted to make dildos, and then I was like, "There's a family that makes femme skin."
I'm sorry, guys. She's high again.
It is one of the things that humans tend to focus on when making things.
My mind
Oh yeah, dude! If I had a 3D
crazy
printer, there'd be all
places
kinds
and
of
stuff.
pussies and dicks. And, that's all I'd make is fucking sexual shit. I ain't gonna lie. I'd have a cheer in the size of a vagina. Shake.
But yeah, that's a wonderful world. So I do success on there. It'll be one of the things I would encourage you to get to the point is where you need something and you say, well, instead of going and buy it, I'll make it.
That's part of why I got into it. Want to, remove myself from the system a little bit. It gives me the ability to comment on consumerism a little bit more without feeling like such a piece of shit.
Well, you are a piece of shit.
I mean, I don't deny it.
Yeah.
Adam would like you to print him some Tomb Raider titties stat.
Tomb Raider titties.
Tomb Raider titties, please.
So, I had a question, but I forgot what it was. Anyways, so here's the thing. It ain't the question I was going to ask, 'cause I can't remember that, but I'll think. There are a lot of cities, I think Skep Talk kind of went over this a second ago, that are putting, blocking up their windows and protecting their buildings, because a lot of people feel like there's going to be riots tonight. My message would be, either way, if you're for Trump, if you're for Biden, don't riot. Don't do that. Protest if you want, that's fine, but don't destroy the businesses and stuff. It's just, especially if Trump wins, because it's just going to fuel his ego. Honestly, that's what that's going to do. It's not going to hurt him any. It's just going to fuel his ego. See, Antifa, because every goddamn, his answer to everything is Antifa.
I think that Trump is hoping for reactions because it's about himself and his brand.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I would say to Trump is, you are not the most important person in the universe. The universe does not revolve around you.
Exactly, and if he does win and you're right, it's going to make him feel like he's done something again. He is so egotistical. So I have never seen a person that narcissistic in my life.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Well, and the whole using Antifa thing to fuel fires, it's once again not a thing we haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. This is essentially just the communist tool brought out of the toolbox and given a black spray paint instead of a red spray paint, right? So it is we have an enemy that it's because of the fact that Antifa isn't a legitimate group. There's no one you can arrest to make it go away, right? It makes it a super useful tool because there's no one who can come out and defend actions. There's no one who can come out and be removed in order to make the situation go away. They are not saying that they actually are, but they are the right's boogeyman that they can use to motivate situations.
But we've gone through these times before. This is nothing new. I would say that what comes to mind is there's a comic called Pogo that was back in the 40s and 50s, the Okefenokee Swamp. And one of the famous lines is Pogo says, "We have met the enemy, and they is us."
Yeah.
Right. So it's not them doing it. If it really matters to how do you react? Okay, you say you're not throwing rocks back, but but don't aid and abet that kind of behavior, including don't go to the news organizations and watch all the calamities that they're going to find. Mm-hmm. Again, you will find on the news someone throwing a rock, someone having a hissy fit, all that sort of stuff. You don't have to sit there and watch it 24/7.
Yeah. Sure.
There are better things to do with your life than to watch the product being delivered to the advertising customers.
Yeah, and aiding, by the way, if you don't know, Shabisky, aiding and abetting does not mean catching AIDS in the bed.
I was getting excited.
As I say, you could do something like watch a classic movie, right? Tonight, yeah. Right? Because now it's very likely that there are maybe a number of states, a number of Senate races that we won't know tonight what the current system, where it's going, because of the number of remote ballots. That is, people that did ballot drop-offs, people that mailed it in, depending on the state. We won't know that for a little while. Furthermore, what may happen is a state will come out, and the easy thing for them to begin to report is the actual precinct where people showed up to the polls. Mm-hmm. Because the let's say the mail-in ballots have to be signature checked in a given state. So you may see that one state will be trending towards one position, and as they begin to count the ballots that were mailed in, it might shift. That doesn't mean
the blue mirage.
I want to point out James
the red mirage.
Room says happy election days from Tupelo. Tupelo's, of course, right next to me, Tupelo, Mississippi. So yeah, vote for the weed thing, James. Vote yes. Yes, James.
Yeah, and understand as well, the election is not a test. You're not. It isn't a matter of you get it right if you vote for the winner. That's not what's at stake here. You're not being asked to vote for the winner. You're being asked to express your opinion.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you sit there and say, well, I like this candidate better than that candidate. It doesn't matter if people are saying that other candidate's going to win. If you believe candidate X better expresses your opinion, vote for X. That's part of this representative democracy we have. Express your opinion, and it's okay if your opinion differs from other people. It's okay to vote for something if you start some measure and people are saying, oh, this measure is going to win, but you don't think that's a good measure. Please vote no. And it's okay if the majority doesn't agree with you. That's all we're asking to do is express your preference.
Unless you disagree with me.
Yeah.
If you disagree with me, you're voting wrong.
That's true. And if you're not tipping, you're tipping.
Yeah. We need some more tips now. Shabisky's mad.
I'm pissed.
See?
I'm never gonna take a dab again unless we get a tip.
I wish Landon was on the ticket. Me and my mom was talking about that today. She said he should run for president. And he should. I think he should run. You should get as your vice president.
I say to Mama Pimp, I appreciate the sentiment. It really is coming from an amazing person such as you. That's a really kind sentiment. The one thing I've learned in life is just because you're good at something doesn't mean you have to do it.
That's true.
And I appreciate. That's why people said, well, why did you step out of becoming, did you? Well, I did my part, and there's other things to do. That being said, I do appreciate that, and I have to say this in terms of working with politicians at the local, state, and national level. There are some demons out there, demons, devils. There are some saints and amazing people. They tend to be the fringe. The bulk of people are in the middle, trying to do what they think is best. They make mistakes. There really are very few truly evil and very few truly great politicians. The rest are in the middle, trying to do what they do. And your job as a voter is to look at their performance, look at their platforms, and express your opinion. And it's okay to vote for someone who loses because you've done what you need to do, which is played your part. So
yeah, but really,
it's not a test,
yeah,
right? And
I
it's
just
okay
want
to
to think
say,
about it. Though.
I voted yes on major blah blah blah, and it lost. That's fine.
Then when things inevitably go wrong because that the thing you voted for didn't work out, you have the right now to go, well, I mean, if you all had voted on it.
Yeah. Exactly.
No. And as I say, we will be, we the pundits will be, and have my electoral map there. I could be very wrong. I could be surprised coming in. This thing, I think that within an hour or two of polls closing and seeing the trends coming through, we'll get an idea of whether or not the model we have for the election is valid or invalid.
But now also we got to understand, a lot of you need to understand that there's a lot of mail-in voting this year, so the election may not be over tonight.
Yes, and it is actually, and be wary of a media organization saying such as a state is supporting is voting for or so and so has won a state, and the next day and it's different.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless it's just an overwhelmingly sweep, right? Unless it's just an ass kicking, I don't think we'll know tonight.
Yeah, and the old adage was that people who voted absentee were the really dedicated hardcore voters that were going to vote no matter what, and maybe they didn't want to be risk of being sick that day, or they were on vacation or whatever. And so those votes that came in absentee, the old wisdom was that those dedicated voters tend to be voters who vote more conservative. So you would see
a lot of military votes there.
Or things like that. That's that. And so what will happen is they'll have a state, they'll come in and they'll say, they'll throw out the first election totals. And they'll say it was 0 precincts reporting, and they have numbers. What they mean by 0 precincts reporting is that 0 of the polling places have turned in their ballots or been counted.
Yeah.
But how do they put up numbers? Well, because what they've done in the polling stations is they've stacked up and pre-validated as many of these mail-in ballots as they can, and they start those running through the machines, waiting for the cars to drive in the ballot boxes from the polling station. So when they say 0 precinct reported, when they're putting a number, that doesn't mean 0% of the votes. It means 0% of the polling stations. Now, this time, what we've been seeing with regards to polling and people who want to vote remote, by that meaning they're voting absentee or they're filling a ballot and dropping in a box. The people who are doing that tend to be people who are more concerned about the pandemic than the people who come to the polling station. Now, some states have made remote voting so difficult that people have to go to the polling station. But the thing that we see now that's very different is, instead of it being a slightly more conservative, it is people who are voting remotely, not at the polling station, are people who are more concerned about the pandemic. Now, you might say, well, that means that Trump caters to a crowd that doesn't think the pandemic is real or is that important. So there's a thought that says that more Trump people will be willing to line up, and anti-Trump people will vote remote. So you could see a situation where they come in and it says 0 precincts reporting and Biden's winning. because they've been pulling in people. They started to count those remote ballots that tend to be more pandemic concerned, and then see all of a sudden the state will swing as they start to count some of the polling stations come in. And again, if it says 50% of the precincts reported, that's not 50% of the votes. That's 50% of the polling stations having turned in their numbers.
Yep.
So it understand you might see, and media groups are going to try to put up shocking things that will concern you. And so you might hear big three-letter media groups say Biden's won. Another group says Trump has won. To do what? To get you, the product, to start watching the advertisement they're feeding to you.
You got it.
Just step back, be calm, expect this is going to take time. This may take even a couple of days. There'll be a whole bunch of reports of people throwing hissy fits. There'll be a bunch of...
There's going to be a shit show happening.
Yeah. Will be a bunch of primates throwing poo at each other through the cage walls.
Yep. Yeah. My mom says
there's
going to be a big-ass circus happening. It's right.
I don't put it above there to be cases of violence at voting stations.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it either, man. I wouldn't doubt it either. And that scares me. And that's what I said earlier, man. I know people say this about every election, but I truly mean it when I say this. Of my like I said, I'll be 43 in a few weeks, so I'll go ahead and say 43 years. My 43 years on this earth, I have never felt like an election is this important.
Mm-hmm.
I really do feel that way. I feel like this is, in my lifetime, it's the most important election. And I think you go ahead. Oh, that was me. I was echoing back. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but yeah, I just feel like it's important. I do feel like people should go out and vote. I'm a little nervous, a little excited, a little scared. I normally don't feel this way on election days, but I'm a little weirded out today. I don't know. I just because I don't know what's going to happen.
I think everyone feels that way. I think the energy today is crazy because.
Especially I need Shabisky to give me a hand job. Make me feel.
Today's a big thing.
Yeah.
There are kids out there like. I don't remember when I was a teenager seeing as many teenagers as I do out there like begging adults to vote because they can't.
Yeah.
Because they are that concerned about what is going on.
Yeah.
Like, of course, we had kids interested in politics when I was a teenager. Like, don't get me wrong, but I never saw it like this. Yeah. It's just...
It's crazy.
I was telling my kids even last night, I was like, this is history. Like, your grandkids are going to be talking about 2020 and that, like, this year. Like, you are living in history right now. You're experiencing something. Like, when I was in high school, I can remember sitting exactly what class I was in, like, the entire day when 9/11 happened. Like, and that's like a moment in history. And like everyone else who lived through that is an age that can remember and understand the importance can do the same thing. And it's going to be the same thing with this entire year. Like the year of the pandemic, the year of the COVID,
point.
like,
Excellent point, Missy. And to that sense, but you out there can control your reaction and control your response, right? You have a choice on how you behave, even if other people don't, right? You can choose to be part of the problem or part of and understanding the world, as Skeptok has said, the U.S. has had really bad elections before. This is not unusual. It is not the end of the world.
It is the end of the world.
I mean, and on the note of, like, this is a note in history and bringing up 9/11 and things like that, we've had quite a few, notable things happen in our generation's time. Can we have a moon landing type like
Yes.
we've missed out on that like
Something
type
good,
of thing.
Yeah, we need something good.
Discover something.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I hope so, and those things will happen as well. So don't, and if your candidate doesn't win, it's not the end of the world.
It is in the world, Landon.
If we take away the Senate from Trump, it's still a win, in my opinion. Right? If we
Trump away from the Senate,
Yeah.
That's what I
Well,
mean. That's what I've been
true.
saying from the beginning. Like, I get a lot of people don't want Biden. I understand. I know he's not the greatest pick to put in there right now, especially after dealing what we've
But
dealt
Shabisky
with.
he's the greatest.
But let's
The
get
greatest.
him. Let's get this dickhead out, and then we'll
Who,
deal
me?
with the Biden situation.
Yes.
Like, one thing at a time.
Excellent
Main
point.
thing is make him go away. Get Trump out of office, and then we'll deal with Biden.
And focus on something you can control, your behavior, both
Right.
today and in the future, right? And let's say that your candidate wins and you encounter somebody who is upset because their candidate lost. Show some compassion.
Right, because you know how you would be feeling if it were the other way
unless he's
around.
wearing a MAGA hat, just punch him.
Well, then he's in a cult, and you need to run away because they're gonna try to dose you
But-
and take you in a van and brainwash you somewhere and put you back out in the world. Because I swear to fuck, it's a cult.
you're definitely not going to get anything constructive done by telling someone deal with it.
Yeah, or going, haha.
Or
It's
yeah,
not.
we
Or not my president, or that sort of thing.
Right.
I mean, like you might be surprised what happens if you come across someone like that and you say, then let's work together to do something we want to do, right? Because I mean, there's so many people that are like, if you look at it, one of the most popular platforms is socialized medicine, right? And if you can get people behind that, like a lot of voters are one issue voter, right? Unfortunately, one issue for the Republican side right now is Trump. That is, it's not necessarily them voting for a specific policy. They are voting for a face. And I mean, I get why they're doing it. I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, but I believe that their one ticket issue that they're voting for is Trump. So, and if you can change their ticket, if you can change their one issue from Trump's face to medicine, to saving grandma, right? Like you might be able to do a lot more.
Yeah. I think Shabisky should shave his pubes.
I already did, and I packaged them up, and they're on their way to you, pimp.
Aw, that's so
Yeah.
sweet.
Right.
Did
You
you
check out-
pull a carbon and make him buy it?
What was that?
No, that's right. They make Cartman buy the pubes. That's right.
Oh, Cartman.
Right.
Yeah, and then he put the pubes. Or no, he chopped up his parents and put it in
I
the.
chopped up his
fucking-
parents and put it in the chili.
I was about to say, put the pubes in the. No, he took it way.
No, he took it way farther and put the
Level.
parents.
I'm gonna kill your goddamn parents, bitch.
He took it to my level. That's something.
Yeah.
I respect Cartman for that one.
Yeah, don't be a Cartman.
I do
oh,
it. Big Carmen, fuck it.
Just another point on what I was just talking about.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you
please.
shut up.
All right. So Aries in the chat just mentioned that the suspecting most Trump voters are doing it to watch the SJW live screeching. That there are actors who are in fact doing it in order to see the other side lose, right?
Trolls.
They are the ones that are loud and you see on the internet. You do not see Ethel at home, who never goes out and never gets on the internet, right? You do not see, Bill, who is never, he doesn't have a computer in his home because he's a he's a coal miner and he just wants to go home, watch beer and football, right? So
Watch beer, football.
yeah, well, yeah. Sorry, watch football.
I
And
want to
drink
watch
beer.
my
You
beer.
get
Damn
what
it.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
He sees news channels and he sees the people who are running around with flags and everybody having a good time. He sees positive stuff in his life around this and doesn't even know what is happening in Portland. He has no idea what the Supreme Court is voting on. He does not care about those things, but he does care about the fact that he heard once that the other side wants to shut down his coal plant that he works at.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, I want coal towns to die. Like, I want, if your town revolves around fossil fuels and their existence, you should probably go extinct. Like, but that's just the thing that I believe. I'm not in charge, right? But I am loud on the internet, and I post that shit on Facebook all the time. I post stuff about how I think America has reached its expiration date, right? Like, the United States is too big, and we are trying to force people like Oregon and Kentucky to follow the same rules, which is things that just, there were two different types of people.
Yeah. Here's your cut my camera off for a second. I didn't cut off, I just hit it. Okay, go ahead.
All right. but
Yeah,
like I'm
scratch
saying
your
is
balls,
that
pimp.
a lot of what we're seeing of the other side are the loud, boisterous people who are on social media and who are in the news. We are not seeing the core, right?
Nope.
And the people who go to the rallies, those are, you know, the loud, boisterous people.
So you're saying the silent majority?
Yes. I mean, honestly, that there is a silent majority are the people that are the ones that are the biggest numbers going through for Trump. Just a silent majority of his people, not the entirety of all of us, but a majority of that side.
Well, let's just say this. I only had one tip so far today, and the goal is 125. We need 105 to make the goal. We'll do a Friday show. Please tip. Now, I need all the money I can get for this damn house hunting shit.
We got to take Shabisky into the vet. It's time to get him treated.
Yeah, he got rabies.
Yeah, I keep biting Pimp.
He keeps voting Trump.
I keep voting Trump on accident. It was the rabies.
The rabbits. The rabbits.
Rabbits.
Missy's got rabbits. In her bubbies.
What?
Her rabbits and her babies. Is that your rabies face? Missy?
Mhm.
That was weird. Anyways, it was cute though. It was cute. Unlike Shabisky, he's not cute.
What?
We'll do a rabies face, Shabisky. See if your rabies face is cute. No, it's not. Dude, my medication hit me. I'm high as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a crazy day. It's gonna be a definitely crazy day. And I back to the point, people don't lose your shit at the polling stations. If you go to the polling stations, there may be people that are rude and yelling at you and screaming and all this shit. Just do what you're there to do and move on.
And according to reports that I saw about California, they may or may not have swords. There was a guy at a polling station menacing people with Biden stickers on their cars with a looked like a saber from like the Civil War, right? Like it was slightly curved and have the big handle guard, and yeah, he was running around yelling about how, you know, you'll vote for Trump and you know it, and motherfucker has a sword.
Was he?
Yeah.
Guys,
And the thing about it is,
don't
here's what
swords
scares me.
to vote.
Trump made this whole call for poll watchers, and that scares me because some of these people are nuts, right? And now he didn't call for violence, he didn't do that, but just making that call, and then like the stuff like what happened in Texas the other day, them chasing that bus and shit. He gets on there and says, "I love Texas." As a leader, he just should not do that.
Yeah, but as somebody who just is about himself, he was pleased that his name got even more brand recognition. That's it. Really is. He doesn't care about the election. He cares about himself. And as long as his brand and his ego and his name remains there. So if, for example, Trump is defeated, and you don't like Trump, stop talking about him.
Yeah.
Make him a non-issue. Focus on what we have to do now. As Skeptalk said, focus on building consensus and treat Trump like we treat Barry Goldwater. Say who?
Who?
Sign him to the Warren G. Harding of history. That's the if you don't like Trump and his brand and what he's doing, his behavior, turn him into Harrison or Johnson, right? Put him. I'm talking about the first Johnson, Andrew Johnson. Make his brand essentially a non-issue, and move on to focus on what we need to do.
Yeah, I agree, Mr. Landon.
That is probably if you want to if you're out to do something, express your anger for Trump, make his brand irrelevant. Make his brand so yesterday. Make his brand something that only historians talk about when they refer back to 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Right. On The Dark Age 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
The Dark Age 2. I gotta pour some water on my head.
Oh yeah? Are you hot?
No, I'm high.
He's having a heat flash.
No, I'm just trying to fucking keep my eyes open. Sometimes my leg medicines kick in, and I'm on this new blood pressure that makes me sleepy. It's fucking weird. Trump is not good to down quietly. Going to go down quietly. So he's gonna make a fucking scene if he loses. He's gonna make a scene. That's it's gonna be a circus, but there's not really a lot. Like people think he could stay in the White House if he. No, once January hits, Biden's president. Biden say, "Hey, remove his ass," and they'll do it. Which I don't think it'll come to that at all. But people who are
you
afraid,
never know.
Nah, but it would be funny to see a little orange feet kicking in the air and a fucking guy on each arm.
Crazier shit has happened. What do you guys think about this fake Melania stuff?
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I'm a huge fan of conspiracy theories that aren't actively hurting anybody, right? Like conspiracy theories like QAnon and weird shit like that. Those start to get dangerous and weird shit starts to go on. But when it's hilarious, like looking at pictures of Melania Trump and like trying to figure out if her teeth are the same in both of the pictures. I fucking love it.
I agree. Some of those silly ones are fun, but yeah, the major ones are scary. Those QAnon people are fucking nuts, bro. And he won't even have the balls to say, "Yeah, they're weird." He's just so weird, dude. I don't like that fucking dude.
Yeah, he won't denounce racism. He won't, he's a bad man. We made a big mistake when we put him in the office in the first place. We need to fix the mistake and not do it again.
Truth.
And I hope that enough people realize that. Like, I know the MAGA people are scary and intense, but the minute he loses, all their power goes away. Like, they're not scary anymore.
Truth, woman. Woman speaks words of facts. Shabisky?
Yeah, babes?
What do you think?
I think that Missy's right. I agree with her 100% on everything that she says, as long as she doesn't beat me.
She said you were a bitch. You agree?
You
Yes,
weren't paying
Miss,
attention.
you're right. You're the greatest, Missy. Don't beat me up.
You weren't paying attention.
He was. Well, we got 8 minutes left of the show, so I want to hear some ding and monkeys or whatever. I want to hear this.
Look at that! Look at that! That's a polling.
It's a cock rocket.
It's a cock
Polling station.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the polling train. Hop on, and it'll take you to where you need to go.
Some people poll that station.
Basically, if you ride that ride, you're going to get fucked. I hope it doesn't come to that. Okay? Shabisky. You need to talk more.
I'm sorry, pimp.
Why you being a bitch?
I ran out of Coke, bro. I'm tired.
He's a sleepy shabby.
Huh?
He's a sleepy shabby.
I'm sleepy.
She's sleepy.
She's sleepy. I hate
Sleep bisky.
I'm tired.
So, Scab, you got anything going on your channel?
No, nothing's going on over there.
Every week I release an episode of my podcast. A fantasy comedy improv podcast where 3 characters live in the post-apocalyptic future in a radio station and attempt to figure out what the hell is going on in a world full of zombies, mutants, aliens, and robots.
Well, yeah. That's a lot. Landon, you got anything happening?
We had someone who donated.
Hey!
PT Ham.
Thank you, PT.
Thank you, PT. I do. Again, I really appreciate you supporting artists.
I don't appreciate you at all, PT.
And a couple of things, I guess, is that I will be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is 4 p.m. Pacific, doing a live broadcast of watching the election returns and doing some sort of, basically it will be more of commentary analysis of data as we see the results come in. And so that will be happening tonight. I will be on Dee McRae's show. But I would like to encourage you to become a patron of these fine folk. Also check out Milwaukee Atheists. They do a really nice show, really good scholarship on some things. And MKE Atheists, check them out. The Bin podcast is also an interesting thing. And of course, Skeptalk has some useful things to follow.
And it's me on Twitter, and I'll put it right there. I'm supposed to do it right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so make sure, And here, okay, we got 5 minutes. I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to do it because I don't do it. Does anybody want to make a prediction?
My prediction for quite a while has been tonight, Trump will declare victory.
Oh, yeah.
He will declare it and have the polls backing him at the time. They won't be closed and they won't be official, but the numbers will look like it is a Republican victory. And then over the next few days, it will shift to a Biden victory. That's my prediction. But then that's when the legal battles start.
I think that's a very good thing. Other people, before I give my
Shabisky?
I just dropped a link in the chat, guys, for
Donald.
Skep's podcast, so you can go over there.
Oh, you being real, Shabisky? A real prediction. Is this your real prediction?
Donald's going to win. I voted for him, and I told everyone to vote for him, and I'm pretty sure everyone listened. So we're probably going to win. Me and Trump.
What about you, Missy? You predict anything?
No,
There
I
you
don't
go.
want to predict anything because
I don't blame you. I don't either.
I've been disappointed too many times.
Yeah. I will say it does look good for Biden. But Landon, what's your prediction?
Well, I could be wrong, which is why you want to go to the polls anyway, if you like or dislike what I say. And I'm going to revise my statement with some data that's coming in pre-poll closing this afternoon. But for this morning, with available data, we're showing Biden 351, Trump 187, and others. In fact, I have to fix that thing. 187 and others 0. So the margin of error is 65, and that means a chance for a Biden win is 92.7%. Chance for a Trump win, on the other hand, because he still can win, is about the chance of taking a standard deck of cards, the 4 suits plus 2 jokers, and pulling an ace out. That's essentially the odds we see of Trump winning, which is non-zero. So we'll see what they call it in margin of error, and we'll see what happens. Be patient, be respectful.
Yes.
Move on, and let's look at the next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Landon. And we thank you, Landon and Skep Talk, for joining us today. Put on a good show. Interesting, educational, and Landon added that sex appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when he whipped out his dick. Y'all didn't even notice, but I seen the tip of it right there on the camera. He just about the tip. He showed the rim.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
And I thank PT for tipping. He was the only one today, but I appreciate you, buddy. You're very kind.
Thank you, PT.
And of course, I appreciate Shabisky and Missy and Bulls. They always do a great job. And right at the end there, I got really fucked up. For some reason, my medicine just hit me, and I'm like, fuck. But tomorrow on the show, I will not be here tomorrow. I will be house hunting and appointments in the house. But Missy will be here, Shabisky will be here, Boulder. The rest of the crew will be here, joined by, I hope, Red Eye. I hope.
Yeah, he said he'd be here.
Okay, Red Eye, Burnt Toast, and Dirk Cobain. So they're all going to be here, have a good time. I think do whatever they want. And if I'm not happy, I will punish them when I return. And y'all should go to my wish list. And if you don't want to buy me a birthday gift, that's fine. But buy my mama something.
Yeah. Mama Pimp deserves your support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very much so. Shabisky, I want you to know that I hate you.
Like in a loving way?
No, not in a hating way.
Like hate sex?
Yeah.
No sex, just hate murder.
No. That sucks.
Can we fuck before you kill me? Just one last time, Pimp.
Can we fuck?
One last cummy.
So I do want to end by saying this. I'm kind of getting awake now. I do want to end by saying this. I know most of the time this is a comedy show, but this is an important day for our country. So I wanted to bring Landon and Skep on. I let them talk a lot because they know what they're talking about. Skep's got a lot of history. Landon knows shit because he's smart. And the rest of us are pretty dumb folks. But anyway, except Missy. Missy's very intelligent. And she's got pretty eyes. But all jokes aside, if you haven't voted yet this morning, go vote now. Go vote because it's important. Either way, I don't give a shit if you vote for Trump or whatever.
Excellent.
Don't vote for Trump.
Don't vote for Trump.
Don't vote for Trump.
Be careful while you're
We
there.
would rather you not vote for Trump, but if you are voting for Trump, that's fine. But go vote. So that's all I got to say for today. Other than that, we love you guys. They'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you sometime later. Maybe. I may not be here Thursday. We'll have to figure that out. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. Booleanenator,